Welcome back to A Nice Place to Brew. Part 2.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Part 2.
All me. My bad.
Welcome back, Matt. I'm going to set this up a little bit because I'm going to have to resend the links. We are talking tonight with Matt Van Wyck from Alesong Brewing out of Eugene, Oregon. Matt, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's like we went to a commercial. No big deal.
Exactly.
Brief word from our sponsors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Set this up a little further. Matt, Alesong is the gold medal winner in the Brett category for the 2020 FOBAB Awards. Matt, do you want to give out your website again real quick?
Yeah, it's alesongbrewing.com. And you can find us on the social medias, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Alesong Brewing. And I use Alesong Matt as mine. So follow us and check us out there.
Right on.
Okay.
Right on. All right. Are we further teasing the corgi cam, George? Are you set up, ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Yeah, I was setting that up for that. But, I mean, we were just finishing up a discussion about Brett and how, and if you happen to see this stream, definitely recommend checking out the part 1 there, because we did a pretty in-depth conversation about Brett and its effects on beer and how it's somewhat falsely associated with sours, and what you can do, especially at a professional level, but even at a homebrew level, to be able to use the same equipment for your regular yeasts as well as for your Bretts and your lactose. Just at a high level, suggestions, if you're using the more soft-sided things like plastic buckets or plastic carboys, probably keep them separate. But if you're using glass or steel as your fermenters, you can probably, stand to reuse your systems for both the more wild Brett and lacto type elements, as well as your your standard brewing. Is that fair to say, Matt?
Yep, that's accurate. I mean, you can always be careful and use separate stuff no matter what you use, but hard-sided things can be cleaned just fine using Brettanomyces.
Okay. All right. So I teased at the beginning of this that we weren't going to be the only things that we're drinking, and some four-leggeds we're going to be drinking this time around too. I do have 2, and Jason, if you can add in the corgi cam here.
All right, here we go.
I do have 2 bowls for my dogs that they're going to drink Dog Brew by Bush, and we're going to see if they like it. Now, we do know that the humans associated aren't big fans of Bush beer. But, corgis, not as discerning of a palate, so maybe they will enjoy it. So let's see what they think of it. Wesley. So this is Winifred. That over there is Wesley. And they are our brew dogs. And so, Winifred, you want to try that? She seems to enjoy it. Wesley, come here, buddy. Wesley tends to be a little bit more nervous about new things.
Does that pour clear?
It does.
Really?
It does, yeah.
What beer pours like... Oh, gosh. Okay, this is going to be controversial because I don't want to piss off the seltzer people.
No, but you know what it kind of reminded me of when I poured it was kind of a Pilsner.
Okay.
So it's definitely on the lighter side. Yeah.
Do you have a clear glass nearby? Can we just see just how clear it is?
I don't.
Okay.
Let me borrow this for a second, Fred.
Okay.
But you can see, it's basically clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Wesley abandoned his.
She can't. Fred went right back to it, though. Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's meeting with some mixed results.
Yeah.
Here, you know. She's entertaining. She smashes her nose against the side of a bowl when she drinks. So.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah.
This should be
Okay.
This should be the creation of the A Nice Place to Brew TikTok. Because I guarantee this would be a smash hit on TikTok.
So that's the corgis. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'd say it was met with resounding success.
Yeah.
They are. She is still drinking it. Leslie stopped, but you know, so there you go. So again, I apologize for the derailing of this, and thank you everybody for joining us on the new link on both YouTube and Facebook. And yeah,
Right
absolutely.
on. Matt,
We're back.
what's in the plans 2021 for Alesong?
Well, at the very end of 2020, we opened a new tasting room. So now we have 2 tasting rooms. So we took that over in November, and there's nothing like a global pandemic to expand your business.
Sure.
But we chose to. And so the beginning of this year is still getting used to kind of operating 2 tasting rooms and what that entails. The other thing is our business model is a little different than most breweries. We operate a little bit more like a winery, where we have 4 releases a year, where new beers don't come out on a regular schedule like weekly or monthly. They come out quarterly. And at that time, we'll release 4 or 5 beers at a time. So a week from tomorrow, we have another release coming out. So we've been kind of gearing up for that. And it's for our club members. They get first dibs on our beer, and we do food pairings and things like that with it. So I've been working, getting the food together, getting the beer together. And, we have between 500 and 600 members now. So it's kind of a big group of people. So kind of growing that and still getting some beer out to wholesale. And then the last thing I'll tell you, for those of you who live in the Midwest or Chicagoland specifically, probably at some point this year, we'll have some beer on the shelves in Chicago. So you'll be able to pick up some Alesong and always happy.
Nice. Yeah, he is.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I've actually known this for a couple months when me and Matt started talking about the Barrel Project. It's been everything in my heart not to tell everybody in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for the time. Actually, Matt, who is your? I know we talked about this, but you never told me who is going to be your distributor.
So we're working with a pretty small company. It's a one-man guy basically. It's called Do Right Distributing. And if you know Adam Vavrick, he's worked at I think maybe Benny's, but also he was a publican for a while as the sort of beer guy at Publican, and he's worked at several other beer things in Chicagoland. And he started his own distributing company. I think he has the Shelton Brothers book, or what was the Shelton Brothers book, since that company is going away. So he gets a lot of imports and things like that. And he works with a wine delivery company to get beers to different stores. So it's a little different approach, but with our brand, we're not looking to take over the market. We're just looking to say, okay, in every little town around, what's the best beer store? Buy a couple cases and get it out there for people. So we'll see what happens.
Tell you places in Joliet, or at least the one place in Joliet you need to get into is Joe's Beverage Depot.
Nice.
Two locations, one in Joliet and one in Romeo, though.
Well, you can bet what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap into my friends and network, and I've got family that live there, and be like,
Sure,
all you have to do is just tell the local buyer at a place that should have our beer, here's how you get it, here's the distributor, call them up and you can get it. So I'll tell you, selfishly, it's so I can come back and visit you guys and hang out and drink beers, eat food in Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will this be your first time having beer available in the Midwest?
Yeah, we have a few little pockets of places. Our beer goes to some other countries, but we've got a little beer in Atlanta. We've got a little beer that went to New Jersey, Colorado, and then up and down the West Coast, but nothing really in the Midwest. And, as you can imagine, I grew up in Iowa. I lived in Chicago for 15 years. Everyone always wants to ask, when will I be able to get it? When will I be able to get it?
Sure.
And it's not as easy as just going, here's a pallet of beer, get it to the right place. And there's so much more involved. And And
It's a
it's crazy.
painstaking legal process.
And it's crazy competitive too. There's so much good beer there. Like, why would you go buy a bottle of our beer when you could buy so much other good stuff? But hopefully some people
I know why I buy a bottle of your beer.
I know you would.
Right here too.
Well,
I tell
the world.
Well, and you know, I like you and everything, so that's why one of the reasons. But the other thing is, you guys have a little bit of a niche in what you do, like in specializing in the barrel aged beers and everything. And that's, you're not just, you know, the next guy on the block. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's a little bit more of an incentive there, and if you decide that you want to go a little bit more east of the Appalachians, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to help there. So yeah. Because I think a lot of people out here would really appreciate the niche that you guys have carved out.
Yeah, I think that's nice because you know, there are a lot of people doing great barrel aged beers, but sometimes it's just an extra thing they do. And even though if they're doing it awesomely, it's just they're not known for that. We wanted to be the experts at it. So at least if people look at our brand and say, oh, those are the people that make only barrel aged beers. They're making sour beers, they're making bourbon barrel aged beers, but they have something figured out. And, you know, our GABF awards, our FOBAB awards have kind of spoken for the fact that it's not just crap we're putting out there. It's pretty well received and recognized. So hopefully that carries us somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And what state do you live in, George? I forget.
Virginia.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I was.
It's a fairly alcohol-friendly state. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're working with someone who I think they do Maryland, Virginia, probably DC, of course, and maybe Delaware too. So they kind of cover all that state. So it's coming soon, I think, soonish.
Well, we'll be in touch.
Okay. Good.
Congrats to you, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome. The beer's getting around.
Yeah.
It's keeping us busy. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited about the prospect of getting to buy that out here.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right.
And then, Jason, you should get in this club though too, because like Matt was saying, he was telling me before, some of the stuff that will be available will still be good, but get in his little club there, and there's certain releases that won't be available to the general public.
Yeah, let's mention that. So, can you be a member of the club and not be in the Eugene area?
Yes, you can. Now, there's only a select states you can, and Illinois happens to be one of them. Virginia, I don't think is. In fact, I know it isn't, because I told someone else recently that DC can get it, but not Virginia. So you got to have a friend in DC. So here's the situation. Ship it to the house. So we do have a club-based model, as I was speaking about, sort of like a wine club a little bit. And unfortunately, the shipping laws for beer aren't the same as wine. So we can't actually ship it to these states that members are in our club. The good thing is there's a lot of companies out there that make it easier for us. And we're working with Tavour, which is in Washington, and it's one of those, beer of the month shipping club type thing. So it actually goes through their legalities. We sell it to them. They sell it to our club members. But let me back up a step. So for our club, we release these 4 beers per quarter, and typically 2 of those beers are larger blends and go into wholesale. So 2 beers a quarter, 8 beers a year are going to hopefully come to Chicagoland and other places that we distribute. But there's 2 other beers each quarter. One of them is club only. You can't buy it in our tasting room. You just have to be in the club to get it. And if you live in Chicago and are in our club, you can have it. If you live in Eugene and are in our club, you can have it. So it's a little bit of a rarity model with just 1 beer a quarter. And then the 4th beer is typically enough for our tasting room. So you can come into our tasting room and buy it, but you won't see it on the store shelves. So that's a little bit of a reason. Now, if you live locally, you can do things like get discounts at the brewery. You get a complimentary flight every time you come in. So unfortunately, our out-of-state club members don't get some of those in-town benefits, which is unfortunate. However, the club price isn't a fee for the club, and then you have to buy a bunch of beers. It's the fee is worked out that you are buying our beer at a 10% discount. So all out-of-state members are 8-bottle members. We have 6-bottle club and 12-bottle club. So that's how much you get each quarter. But for shipping reasons, it had to be 8, and that's what it is. So we have some people in Illinois who are in our club, and every quarter 8 bottles come to their house. Typically, there's one of those beers will have a couple of them have 2 different bottles, and always the club beer has more. And the other thing we've just changed to as well is our tasting room in the country. Since we opened this new tasting room, it's in town. Our original tasting room is 20 miles outside of town, and it's going to be only for club members. So it's going to be a benefit that if you're not in our club, you better sign up, or you can't come out and hang out in the country and drink beers on our patio. Now you can do that. Yeah, I know you will. Hey, Polly, all you need to do is say, "My name is Sean 1L." Okay, just say I'm Sean, and no one will bat an eye. Okay. No, VIPs can come. So you guys will all be, with a little notice, you'll all be welcomed. But anyway, that's just our way of rewarding our club members, but also getting people to sign up because they say, "I want to sit out here on a Sunday afternoon and drink beers on your country patio."
Of course,
join the club. And at our club releases, at least for the local people, like I said, we're giving them food pairings, have these parties with live music and things like that. And so there's a lot of benefits for local for the people who are out of state. And I think there's like 20 states or something in that range that can get our beer through this club. You're getting some rare beers and you're getting a discount on the beers. That's about the main things, other than if you come visit us.
Right.
So yes, Illinoisans, join our club. Polly approved.
Yep, I've had some of the beers. I enjoy them. I actually got 2 friends, Sean and my buddy Brian Maseka are both part of the club. So it's great that time of year. I go hang out with them and then drink a bunch of Alesong beers. So gets excited about that.
Right on.
Right.
Well, Matt, thank you for your time tonight and joining us. And
Pleasure.
And, honestly, I think the biggest thing that I learned tonight is that Brett has more uses than just being a vehicle for sours. So,
that's right.
Shame on me. I should have known that beforehand, but, learn something new every day. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no problem. And I tell you what, let's let a couple months go by, get this pandemic behind us, and once some beers are on the shelf there, or maybe I'm visiting, but let's get some of our beer in your hands. We'll talk again where you can drink it while we talk about it.
Done.
For sure.
Sounds like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
Check out Alesong Brewing online and on social media. And before we sign off, we do our webcast every Thursday here on Facebook and YouTube, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com. Our social media links are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nice Place to Brew and A Nice Place to Brew. And check out our audio podcasts on all the major podcasting platforms under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew. If you cannot wait until next Thursday to check out another webcast, you can go to our YouTube page and you can see our archive of all of our past shows, including Matt's past episode going back several months. We've been doing weekly episodes since the beginning of COVID-19, so there is quite a library there. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great weekend. If you're near snow or winter weather, I hope you ride it out just fine, and we'll see you back here next week. All right. Before we say goodbye, we raise a glass and we say, it takes a lot of good beer to make great beer. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.